Alright, so I'm trying to platinum over 100 games in a list created by the community. Now, if I can't do this before the channel hits 850,000 subscribers, then I will shave my head bald and look like a base character from a video game. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. The chosen game of today is Resident Evil 4. This is one of the best in the series, and Capcom recently released the remake of it since the original one came out way back in 2005. But the game has 40 total trophies and takes at least 4 playthroughs to get, but that might be higher dependent on skill level. So stage 1 is to get every single collectible and complete all of the vendor side quests that are available. I did also have a starting count of 6 trophies to begin with because I had played for fun a while back. And before actually beginning stage 1 of the platinum, I did a little something extra to make the game easier, and that was to play the DLC and beat 3 levels with an S rating. Upon doing that, not only did I get used to the game's combat, but I also would unlock the hand cannon bonus gun, which is available in every single run now, and you can combine that with an exclusive upgrade token to get it maxed out and with infinite ammo. So this is pretty much the pay to win cheat code to the game is what I'm trying to say. Before the video continues, I want to say a huge thanks to New World Eternum for sponsoring this video. New World Eternum is an action RPG set on the supernatural island of Eternum. Forge your destiny on an adventure filled with danger and opportunity. The game is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC. This brand new addition into the gaming world features a skill-based and dynamic combat system incorporating swords, guns, and sorcery. Far more fun than your typical first-person shooter, if I do say so for myself. Both PvE and PvP are also available in New World Eternum, so there truly is freedom to play your way. Those who prefer solo RPGs will also be happy to know that you can play solo or co-op with your friends if you're into all of that. There is an absolutely massive open world within with insane amounts of quests to take on and a multitude of just beautiful landscapes that will take your breath away. Character customization is back to the golden age with Eternum, making it possible to look any shape, size, or form your crooked mind can think up. And finally, there is crossplay in addition, making it literally the perfect game to get hooked on, regardless of what platform all your friends play on. So make sure to check out New World Eternum using my link in the description, and huge thanks to New World Eternum for sponsoring this video.
Oh my god!
Anyways, let's get into the real grind of the game. It opens up with chapter 1 seeing some backstory to the plot. Essentially, Resident Evil 4 has us playing as Leon and chasing down a girl named Ashley Gray, who has been stolen by the evil people and is pretty much just being tortured essentially. But the first chapter just had us go into a cabin and meet the first enemies of the day who pose basically no threat. We then headed down to the village nearby, and this is the iconic first mission of Resident Evil 4. Also, if you can remember, it was the demo that they gave out to everyone for free before it actually released. Essentially, all you do, however, is battle enemies until you kill enough of them, and then a bell starts ringing calling them all away, leaving us alone at last, also finishing the quote-unquote intro of the game, signified with the game's title. The next few chapters then all had us with one major goal, that of reaching the lake to get across it, but we would end up getting caught by the first major boss of the game right away when in his basement of a building investigating a body. That body also happened to be Lewis, who is another side character within the story, but we got imprisoned and broke free with him right after, then had a little cell section since all of our items got stolen from us. However, once retrieving them and moving on, we also encounter the game's merchant for the first time, and this is where we can finally upgrade the hand cannon gotten from the DLC to make this playthrough quite literally a piece of cake. Before that, however, I did the first side quest of the game and turned it into him, which gave me a trophy. I then used that upgrade ticket on the hand cannon and also got another trophy for unlocking a weapons exclusive upgrade. Resident Evil 4 is officially pay to win. Shameless Capcom. Anyways, I then made it to a house a bit later on which had a puzzle in it to reach the master bedroom, and after we stole a key from inside a cabinet, that same evil dude just showed up, and I assumed this was his house maybe, which is why he knocked us out. But he actually just left us there, so I'm not sure what happened when we were knocked out, but human resources will be getting a complaint. I then made my way to the lake once more, but before reaching the caves to the lake, there was a little arena that had this boss fight in it later on. However, for now, it was just full of crows, and this is the ideal spot to get a trophy called Shield Your Eyes, which is gotten from defeating 3 enemies at once with a flash grenade. And because crows have like no HP, I did that easily. The goal was to then find fuel for the boat to cross the lake. The fuel for it was just in a side area, by the way, but upon crossing the lake, you get the very first real boss fight of the game, which is just against a giant monster living inside of the lake. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I love this game a lot, but this fight in particular was one of the most dumb ones in it. Pretty much because you literally just spam harpoons over and over, and it feels like the dude is never gonna die until it dies, so, you know, that's that. We then had the objective of finding the church key because crossing the lake was a failure, as we just saw, and to get the church key, all you have to do is find these 2 different stone heads on opposing sides of the lake, locked by a small icon puzzle. Then you place the heads in the pedestals, and the key is yours to go use. On the way back though, the only path is to go the longest way for some reason, and in doing this, we also ran back through that arena earlier, which had the boss this time, and it was just your girlfriend with no makeup on, and I finished her off within like 1 minute, so I mean, I don't know about you, but that's pretty cool. We then made it to the church and had to do a butterfly or something puzzle to let us into the upper floors. This is because Ashley herself was just sitting in the attic thinking she's Anne Frank or something. I don't know why. Anyways, the next chapter then had us escort her to the extraction point, which entirely consisted of us battling enemies for a decently lengthy time. Upon reaching the extraction point, however, that Chad Lewis was here, and we then did a little COD zombies fight the incoming waves within the extraction point house. However, since we have the hand cannon, this is not much of a challenge whatsoever. After that, the goal was then to escape the village because obviously extraction is not really an option right now. But as we were nearing the edge of the village, that damn big dark dude showed up again, and this time he just chased us. But it was more of him just walking menacingly behind us as we panicked with the enemies in front. After a while, we reached a bridge and sort of just fell to safety, but that big dude found us like right after, and we then finally fought him. I think I shot that guy a total of like 5 times with a hand cannon before winning the fight, and yeah, I love pay to win. This is amazing. Upon defeating him, I got the first new story trophy of the day, so that's cool. Ashley and I then continued up this path, and that was the way out. I shot the final treasure of the village area down before continuing on, which gave me the bandit trophy. More importantly, I didn't miss any treasure, so that's a huge W. We are now in the castle section of the game, which is the second one. It contains a large amount of puzzles within it. But the first section had us trying to enter the castle itself, and that was done by using a giant ass cannon and just blowing up everything. I also shot a cannon at a poor enemy, which was a trophy in itself. But once we entered the castle, we got greeted by the next boss and villain of the game. That being this weird ass dude who sounds like he's probably a Democrat. He also sent a ton of enemies to fight us right away, which I made swift use of thanks to the godly hand cannon. I then had to retrieve the dungeon key, but after grabbing it, Leon fell through the damn floor right into a room with, in my opinion, the most annoying normal enemy. It's this blind creature that just swings these giant metal arms at you and takes almost no damage from the front. However, since this is on easy difficulty and I have an insane weapon, killing him wasn't too hard, and I actually got a trophy from doing it for the first time. So the castle section of Resident Evil 4 is definitely cool, but it's honestly not super fun compared to the village section because it's mostly just puzzles, and Ashley and you get split up over and over. There was a section where you did get to play as Ashley, however, so that was kind of unique. Sadly though, she had no weapons at all and you just walk around in the dark with a lamp, which is peak content. Anyways, after everything was said and done, we burst into a room to find them doing a legit satanic ritual on poor Ashley here. Obviously this outburst was not welcome, and I kind of then just got sent through the floor, once more ending up in the underground. So I had to find my way out, and there was also giant bug enemies in the water, which is just great. But after finding my way out, I also made it to the merchant once more, and I finally had high enough gems and treasure to combine and make an item worth at least 100,000 coins. So I sold it and then got a trophy from doing that. Oh yeah, and we also had to repower up this elevator down here, which was all frozen and ended up getting chased by some enemy that looks like it was straight out of the Alien movies. Like, this was deadass horrifying, and the thing is also insanely strong. Way stronger than all of the bosses so far, which is kind of funny if you think about it. But since it was so powerful, there's actually a trophy gotten from just defeating it before the elevator came, and I got that right here. Oh yeah, and this section of the game was kind of different from the other two because we are now in the mines and also joined by Lewis once more. Me and him then just battled 2 giant creatures like I did earlier to that one in the village. There was also a cool section with us on a minecart traveling through the mines to reach the exit, and there was a trophy from not taking any damage to the cart while doing that, which isn't too hard to be honest once you know it's coming at you, so I got that without too many retries, and here is the trophy pop. Me and Lewis then made it to the exit, however sadly he got stabbed and died right in front of us from another villain in the game. I'm not sure who this is to be honest because I haven't played the earlier games quite yet, but he knew who Leon was, and then we had to knife battle him, which was actually a lot of fun, although somewhat challenging at the same time. We didn't take him out quite yet though, and we'll have to fight him much more later in the game. But for real, rest in peace to the homie. He died with a cig in his mouth like a real man.
That's what I'm saying.
I then had the objective of climbing a clock tower to exit the castle section of the game. And there was a trophy here also from riding this platform all the way up without any enemies jumping on for more than 1 second. This is not hard to do if you just keep on shooting, so I did it first try, and here's that trophy from it. I also found the last treasure for the castle area and got another collectible trophy right after. We then had a boss fight against the castle ruler named Ramon, who died very easy, but before killing him I threw a grenade into his mouth and he swallowed it, which was a trophy. I then defeated him with like 1 shot after, so that's fun, and I got another trophy. So now we are in the final stretch of the game, having to do almost entirely just combat at this point. These last chapters, by the way, were some of the most annoyingly long chapters with so many enemies on them. It was kind of insane. But the goal was to reach the enemy's temple at the end, which has Ashley in it, of course. And I got a trophy while I was in the only real puzzle section from shooting both the insects infecting one of these fat enemies that I hate with a passion. But they did give me a trophy, so it's fine. Oh yeah, and since this is also the end of the game, I unlocked the final few levels of the shooting range. You need to get a trophy from that. The shooting range has been this mini game that's been been scattered around whenever the merchant had a larger settlement available, and you have to get S on every level, which is kind of hard sometimes. Before doing that though, I got a trophy from getting 5 targets down with 1 shot, and about 10 minutes later I did end up getting S rank on enough levels for that trophy, which was kind of hard to be honest with you. Anyways, a bit later, that dude from earlier who killed our friend Lewis came back and we got the real boss fight against him this time. I made quick work of him with the hand cannon once more, and by the way, in the playthroughs after this one, I did have quite the rude awakening when my precious hand cannon was no longer available, so yeah, that's bad, but for now I got a trophy from this fight. I then reached one of the final merchant locations, which had the final side quest for him that I did, and I got the trophy from doing all of those, which most are very easy and obvious by the way. And then we finally reached Ashley, who was on some table after being meddled with more. I then had to carry her back to the lab to save her because she is not really doing too good. Leon also had like a bunch of visions on his walk back, so that was kind of cool, but we did save her and ourselves in the process. Anyways, it is now the ending of the game with us heading to the elevator to reach the final boss fight. On the way, I also found the last treasure in this area of the game for that collectible trophy, and then the final boss fight began. It's not very hard at all since of course I have the pay to win gun, but even in general it's not that bad as long as you have a good weapon to use against him. The second part in particular was very easy because it's super linear and you just have to dodge until this chick throws us an instant kill rocket launcher that ends off the fight for good with the trophy. That wasn't the end of the game however, because we still had to escape the island as it is literally falling apart with a timer of destruction. On the way exiting however, I did find the last little figurine I needed to shoot for another collectible trophy. I did also have to escape with a jet ski, and while riding it I had to make sure not to take any damage on the way out because that was a trophy, and doing that is not hard as long as you break when needed. So here's that trophy, and we did finally escape this horrendous island with actually safe and sound. I'm not sure what the plan with riding the jet ski into the middle of the ocean is, but hey, it's better than the alternative I guess. So that was the end of the game. There was then numerous cutscenes and credits as usual, and I didn't get a trophy for just beating the game because I did it very slow and on assisted difficulty, which is so easy they aren't even going to award us for it. So that is stage 1 finished. Now the remaining stages can be combined and mixed match for less playtime in exchange for harder runs. I however just did the second playthrough as a simple knife and pistol only on assisted, again whilst also never talking to the merchant. And this was harder than the first run by a lot, but still nothing to worry about because you can use any pistol you want to, so it's not that bad. However, you cannot use the hand cannon because that is a magnum, not a pistol, but overall this wasn't bad. The final fight was a tad annoying I will say, since I was running out of everything and the dude just would not die. But upon finishing the game a second time, I got 3 trophies at the ending. First from finishing within 8 hours total of time, then with the knives and pistols only, and finally from never talking to the merchant. The next stage was to beat the game on professional in under 7 hours without healing. I did a slightly different version of this with me definitely healing. I'm not sure how the hell you do it without healing, that is some crazy shit. But I also speedran the balls out of this playthrough because you can use infinite ammo rocket launcher, making like everything one shot. Professional difficulty by the way is the hardest one in the game, just so you know, but I managed to finish this playthrough in under 3 hours actually, so I was really going for it. I got an S rating and then 3 trophies from that. First from finishing the game on standard or higher, then hardcore or higher, and then professional. Yup, those all stacked if you couldn't tell. So long story short, I only have 2 more playthroughs to do, and both are kind of difficult compared to the previous ones because we can't carry over any new game plus items anymore. Previously we could, making it very simple. Before the S plus rank investigator trophy that I am now after, you need to start a fresh hardcore difficulty run and beat it in under 5 hours for that S plus rank. And this run was honestly the hardest out of any in the game because you are basically one shot the whole time. I did still have the hand cannon from the typewriter storage because that's a bonus weapon, but I had no health upgrades like previously and it was just difficult. But it wasn't impossible and I did do it in well under 5 hours. I might have had, you know, quite a few deaths here and there, but I did do it and here's that trophy pop. So now it is time to do the last playthrough of the game. Much like the previous trophy, except this time I had to do it on standard difficulty in under 5 hours. But I am not allowed to heal at all this time since that is also a trophy, and I really do not want to do another assisted playthrough just for that. So I decided to combine it with this run, which was a bit hard because I was on red most of the time, so that was annoying. However, before finishing, I did reload one of my earlier runs and real fast buy the last few guns I needed to get the gun fanatic trophy from having all of them in the game. And yeah, just like the other runs, I made my way through the game. I chose to use the Chicago spreader gun instead of the hand cannon this time since I abused that gun the entire game. And this other one was actually really good when leveled up. Long story short, I beat the game once more on standard, well under 5 hours, getting that rating I needed and both the trophies from it, with the platinum trophy pop coming at the end. So that was the Resident Evil 4 platinum trophy experience. I love the Resident Evil games, more so the newer ones, which is why I enjoyed this so much since it's a remaster of the older one, of course. And yeah, I don't really have any complaints at all. This game is a banger. Rating it out of 10, I'm gonna give it a solid 9. My only reason for not giving it a 10 is because there wasn't really anything scary about it. You know, for a horror game, it was honestly more of just an action adventure adventure one with gross looking enemies. Unlike Resident Evil Biohazard and Village, where there was actually some genuine scary moments, this one was just fun and cool. I guess you could say that section when we fought that enemy in the frozen like elevator room, that was kind of hard, but it was more just frightening because I was getting my asshole torn apart. Also, as you guys probably noticed in the intro, I did finally set a punishment for this challenge. I was unsure if I wanted to do one or not, so I kind of waited, but I feel like it would be fun to have one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.